Hello, Peter Morris here. If you're a maintenance manager, maintenance planner, or reliability engineer, you have to deal with creating work procedures for your workforce to actually go and do maintenance work on a regular basis. These work procedures are usually linked into work order templates inside of systems such as Maximo, SAP, or others. And they have to be changed often. Your company may change the way your work procedures look. There may be some new safety standards that need to get added. You may want to add images to them. There's a whole number of reasons why work procedures need to be changed. And with the traditional approach of doing it in a word processor, you now need to open, literally hundreds or maybe even thousands of individual documents and edit them. As a result, this often doesn't get done, and you end up with generations of work procedures, some of them many years old, that are no longer applicable. So here at MCS Pro, we created a product that assists with this, and it's in our RiffSoft suite, and it's called Riff Create. And what this does is enables you to build your work procedures inside of a database, and a template will determine what they look like. This not only makes it about twice as quick to use as using a word processor, but enables you to make bulk changes to work procedures as you change, the way they look. So to go into it, we log on to our demonstration system here. So I'll give you an idea what this looks like. And within our demonstration system, you can have multiple sites. In this case, we have one site for this company, this demonstration company. And within that site, we have one document type. Now, you can have as many sites and document types as you want for different types of documents. You can use this for other things besides maintenance procedures, but that's certainly the most common use of this. And then within that, you'll see that you can have a number of documents. Now, the documents in this case are broken up by equipment type. This is completely soft-coded. You can break it up any way you want, but and you can have a multi-level hierarchy if you require. In this case, I'm going to show you some examples here of some documents here, and you'll notice that they're color-coded. This is to do with status. Now, the status of documents, you can see here when we look at this particular one, you'll notice there's three statuses. That is because we have turned on a couple of optional features of the software. One is approvals and the other is upload. So without those turned on, you just have a generation status, and it's either needs to be generated or generated. Then it can go through a whole approval process of where it gets approved and then uploaded into a system such as SAP in this case. So if you look at another document here, you see this one here is purple. So its status is it's been generated, it's been approved, but it's got to be uploaded, and it has not yet been uploaded into a system. If we look down in some of these others here, you see this one here is also orange. It's actually never been generated. If we look at the status, you'll see that there's no generation history, no upload history. This one here, you see its status is it's been generated, it's been uploaded into SAP, but since then it's been changed. So it requires generation. Now, to generate this document, what we would typically do is go in and hit PDF, and you've got a couple of options here. If you want to just preview the document, not create a new version, you just leave preview on, and then you just generate the document. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a preview copy of the document that you can go look at, but it's going to do something very interesting. It's going to put a watermark across the document so that you can't use this document because it's not yet been approved. So you see it's got preview across it. And this is what the document looks like in this case. This layout of this is all determined by a template. As you can see, it has some information on what PPE is required, precautions and hazards, tooling, permits, any parts that are required, and then the procedure steps. And then at the bottom here, we have a section where you can put feedback information in. So if we now want to actually generate this document and create a version of it, we do the same thing, click PDF, click Preview Off, and Generate. So what this is now going to do, it's going to create a version of this document that needs to be approved. So a very similar process as before, goes through a generation process. And as you can see now, it takes typically less than half a minute to generate. And you'll now notice that it has a watermark across the document that says Approval Outstanding. Now, I'm the actual approver. So if we go in and look at emails, you'll see that I got an email that says I need to approve this document. If I click on that, okay, it says approve or reject. So I'm going to go in to, just bear with me a second, I have to change screens here. So I'm now logged on, and you can see I can go look at the version, right? Or I can approve or reject it. So if I decide to approve it, I just say approve. If I reject it, then the author will get an email saying that the document's been rejected. They'll also get an email saying the document's been approved. So if we now go back into our other version of Riffsoft here and have a look, you'll now notice that this document has turned purple. And now what it's saying is it's been generated and it's been approved, but it now needs to be uploaded into SAP. So as you can see here, we have version 2. Version 1 has gone into SAP. So by clicking this upload button, it says, in a second. Okay. Because this has been put in SAP before, it knows the SAP number that needs to put it into. And it also knows the document type, etc. And they have the option, of replacing existing. And that's what we're going to do. We could have added a new document, but we obviously don't want to do that. We want to replace an existing one. So we say that and we click upload like this again. And what this will do is it'll now add that into SAP. So replacing the existing content that was in there before. And you'll see this only takes a minute or so to get this done. And now that is done. So if we now look at our document, it's now turned green. And you'll see that the upload status is complete. And if we look in the status, you'll now see version 2 has been put in. So this is very easy for authors to keep control of the current status of all of their documents. Let's have a look at what a document looks like. So going inside of a document, you have a couple of tabs. You've got a details tab where you can put information in like, what equipment is this, the name of the tasks, the purpose, what PPE is used. So in this case, you'll see this is what we call a multi-select. You can select additional things that you might need. There's some default ones that are always turned on. And then here you have precautions and hazards. And this is a lookup. So you have a lookup that you can actually go find something, and then you put in text like so. Now, the way this is all set up, whether it be these multi-selects or these lookup tables or these fields that are free format, is all set up in behind the scenes by the administrator. Now, no programming required to do this, very easy to do. They just set up the fields and tables that are required, and then they get linked into the template to determine how this looks when it comes out. So you can see here you've got permits, isolations, JSAs, special tooling, materials required. And then you have a procedure tab. Now, this is the actual steps required to do the job. And you'll see we have different step types. Again, you can add whatever step types you need for your formatting. In this case, we have a section, step, picture, caution, and we have this thing called step groups. Step groups are special things that enable you to group a bunch of steps together and add them in so that you can reuse the same thing over and over again in different documents. So you select what type of step it is, and then that determines what fields are available to fill in so that you get so that you can add that into your work procedure. So as we saw in the status, filling in all that information produces a document that looks like this. Okay. Now you notice there's no watermark across this because this is an approved document. Anything that's unapproved will have a watermark saying, it's a preview, approval outstanding, rejected, that type of thing. But once it's approved, the watermarks go away, as you can see here. And this is the document. Has some steps. There's a caution line, and the way this is all laid out is determined by the template, as I said. And then below that, they have this section here where you can have feedback on the procedure. This is fairly typical. Most of our customers lay their procedures out in a very similar way to this. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's very easy. Again, you go in here. If you want to add steps, you just basically add steps like so by clicking this plus. It'll add a line. And you just build steps out like that. There's an additional feature that enables you to export all of these steps to Excel and then import steps from Excel. So if you've got data that's sitting, in some other format, it might be, in a Word document, it might be in a spreadsheet, it might be in a manual even, and you can cut and paste it out. You can actually put all that into Excel, and you can then import it in so that you don't have to hand type all the steps individually. Like I said, very simple to use. Authors find, as I said, that they can do this work in about half the time it takes to do it in Microsoft Word. And the additional thing is, if you want to make bulk changes, you just change the template and regenerate all your documents. So that's very quick when you have to do bulk changes. Now, if you'd like to know more about this, go to our website, which is riffsoft.com, and fill out our contact form, and we'll get back to you and show you how it works and how your company can start using this. Thanks for your time.